next door.
You guys ready?
Sure.
I'll try to get out of here in like an hour or so. So. Okay. It is now 5:01. Hermosa Town Board, February 23rd, 2026, work session. So work session agenda is pretty light today. We don't really do roll call or pledge or anything for the agenda, so I guess we can get right into it. So let's review the draft posting for the Public Works Town employee job description.
So has everybody read it?
Yes. Not from page to page.
Okay.
I skimmed over it.
I don't know if I ever really gave a brief summary on it, but all right, the highlights. A list of things that a potential public works employee could potentially do. Not that they're automatically going to be authorized to do, but that they can potentially do. And that's the big distinction there, is to consider training completion and competency evaluation. Essentially, any task would require some kind of training or oversight, or at the very least, all right, we think you can do that. So it would be item by item. These are the things you are allowed to do. And that's how you, in any industrial environment, military environment, any technical professional environment, that's how you do it. Item by item. This is what you can do. We think you can do this without causing any problems. Reporting. Right, so that's a thing. Who do they report to? And if you have a properly set up job description system framework, what you do is you don't really need too much of a supervisor generally. You just need them to report to the people of the relevant task, right? So let's say they're mowing lawn and something gets weird. Well, where's lawn care fall under? Streets. So they'll go to the streets. I need parts with mower, blah, blah, blah. We're doing snow removal. Well, kind of the same thing. They're doing whatever they're doing, whether it be ditch work, whatever. They just basically keep people informed of what they're doing. But once you get a proper job description, they work independently. Yeah.
Well, first off, I have a couple. May I? Sorry, I didn't raise my hand on me. Here.
Yes, you may.
So first off, I'm not sure that it should actually be called a public works associate. Okay, that's the first thing.
I'm sorry,
You expected that, huh?
it's semantics.
Yeah, I know it is, but it also,
Sorry.
to me, sounds more like water and sewer. When you say public works, it sounds like water and sewer. And in my opinion, the person that we need to hire is only going to have a small amount to do with the water and sewer. The person that I think we need is the person that's going to, well, for one thing, mow. For another, take care of the sidewalk and out in front of the building here for snow removal. Any part of the sidewalk that can be done with equipment that we have, can be done. I don't know. Pardon me?
I can.
That's all you have?
No.
All right, we'll put this. I like quickness, so let's put this to bed immediately. Municipal maintenance associate.
Okay, I'll go with that.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like quick solutions to simple problems.
Okay, oh, that's good.
And associate, if we need a definition of associate, we can dive into that.
Say that again,
If we
municipal
need a municipal maintenance associate.
maintenance. Okay. So I put a list of things back here that are not necessarily in the thing, that just things that I quickly thought of in just a minute of today. So one thing they can be doing, they could be cleaning and organizing both buildings here.
Mhm.
This building, and the garage down below.
Yeah. Item E, facilities and grounds, municipal buildings, basic repairs, janitorial support, system monitoring.
Yep, okay. So during that time or with that time, while they're doing that, they could be inventorying everything that's in there.
Mhm,
Okay. Anything that's in any of those.
mhm.
Okay. This person could maintain vehicles as much as they are able and used to doing. If it needs to be oil changed, if they don't know how to do it, if they don't want to do it, they could be the one to drive the vehicle in to get it done or wherever it has to go.
Oh, that's
They
item-
could wash it, they could clean it, they could do everything there is that needs to be done with that.
Item F2
F2, okay?
and F1 for equipment operation, trucks, tractors, skid steer, mowers.
Yep, okay. Like right now, the gutters on this building need work. This person could do that. Anytime any of the owned properties by us need to be painted, they could paint,
Mhm.
they can trim, they can, whatever that is
About,
needed.
the floor in the
Yeah.
kitchen here.
The floor in the kitchen. There are a lot of things, I mean, that this person could handle as far as maintenance, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Okay, then there's the stop signs. This person could do stop signs. We may have to hire somebody to come and drill a hole or whatever you want to call it. But this person could handle that part of it, making sure that they're all at the right height and where we want them. And if we need to drive around and find out if we need them everywhere they are. Office signs, um, uh, the signs that we get ordered. I mean, this is something that he could do, no trespassing. Fines will be, will happen, whatever. These signs he can put on. Yes.
What about flag duty?
Flagging?
No,
Oh, this flags.
the flag duty.
Absolutely. There you go. There's another one. Flag duty.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, he can do street repairs and light maintenance on the streets, like you said, the filling in the holes, blah blah, the sweeping. I mean, there's a lot of times where our parking lot even could be swept. The sidewalks could be swept. I know that's not glorious work, but these are things that need to be done, that can be done, that would be very helpful. Weed control. Um, this person could do the minor weed control, like pulling some weeds maybe. And if they want to, I know not everybody wants to deal with the chemicals of weed spray, but if they're willing.
B2 parks,
Mhm.
mowing, trimming, cleanup, equipment, upkeep,
Yep.
outdoor work in all weather, PPE for noise and 3.
And then there's the one that Chuck did just absolutely because he was a gem. And that was anytime there was a dead rabbit, dog, cat, or deer on our roads, he would go and pick it up and dispose of it. Now, disposal, I don't know.
You actually need a state license
To pick up dead animals?
within our ordinances. Our ordinances are kind of broken. Animal stuff, you need.
Well, maybe that's something we need to change or look into or whatever, but these are things that I just in a quick second today wrote down. And so I think that person, by the time we would get it published, advertised, hired, and get him on the ground, it's going to be April.
Mhm.
And by April, we're about into mowing time.
I don't know why I don't.
And
know more on
I
streets.
don't know why this person would not have to be hired at a full-time position right now. If we could find somebody that was part-time and tell them that we fully expect for it to turn into a full-time position because we're growing and we're going to find other things than what I just mentioned, to take care of. That's what I think. And I think that as far as keeping track of this person, I mean, I think, yes, we do need to keep track of them, but I think also that once we have a good job description and all, that, looking over this guy's shoulder is something we shouldn't have to do.
Exactly.
And I believe that if we have, I think it's the office staff that, I mean, that person could come in here in the morning and say, what do you need done? And the office staff might have a list, and we might have a list that says things you can do when you're done doing everything else, you know?
Well, so just not to
Go
cut
for
in,
it, honey.
But the idea of we need to have somebody to direct them, we have Silversmith now.
Yes,
There's no reason that there couldn't be well, there should be absolutely integrated task scheduling. These are the things we want done on this increment. These are things we don't want done on that increment. Every 3 months, we want you to expect this street. And then, all right, and then break it out. Oh, all right, this section of town gets done this month and that section of town gets done the next month.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be busy putting in those work orders and then accomplishing those work orders. So yeah, we really are looking at somebody who's basically independent, as Chuck was,
well,
to an extent.
yep. So that's what I have so far. I went ahead and
Okay. Very good.
threw it all up, so.
Somebody else want to go? Donna, did you have some?
Well, okay, I have a few questions. Insurance,
$12,000 a year.
That's just a blanket,
Health insurance, $12,000.
12,000,
is that, and that includes,
it's $1,000 a month.
Mhm.
That's just health insurance or is that liability?
Well, you're gonna have to have both.
Workman's comp is like $30-some a month.
You're thinking it's gonna cost $12,000 a year for insurance?
For a full-time person,
Yeah.
for a full-time person, this is what I said. Chuck could have done quite well with, I know.
want his name mentioned.
Okay, I won't,
let's
sorry.
just focus on the, position.
Sorry, so, yeah, insurance is high dollar nowadays, and that's why I'm saying in the beginning, maybe we want just a part-time that we're not paying those benefits on until we establish ourselves or know exactly what's going on or see how busy we keep the person, you know?
Okay, another thing, phone. He's gonna have to have a cell phone.
Yep, yep.
That's
So is that?
And he's gonna have a vehicle, unless you're gonna pay him mileage or whatever for his vehicle.
Well, at one time, we had discussed getting the old cop car ready for just this person. I mean, it's only gonna be in-town driving, a block here, a block there, a block, but I'm sure it needs some maintenance.
I could bring it back to life.
And so that would give this person the vehicle. As far as the phone goes, I would like to add that in the contract, that they have their own phone and that we are able to call them on that phone. That's how I think that.
But you're gonna make him pay for his own phone, or you guys gonna pay for it?
Well, I guess that's up to the board. We can talk about that. It's whatever, I guess if we're paying,
Well, that depends if they're on call, right? If we're going to require them to be on call, then it would be appropriate for us to pay for them to have a phone. But if
I think I have, an idea here, so, when I have had jobs where I was on call, I didn't get a phone stipend per se, but I did get an internet stipend because they expected me to have internet. Also, I was receiving on-call pay usually it was over the weekend is when I got on-call pay. Every once in a while, if I was out of town and I was on call for a different place, I could get on-call pay during the week. But, I don't know if that's something that we want to discuss. But if rather than paying for a phone outright, the way to help compensate that person is like a phone stipend. And then we don't have to be tied up in the billing and everything like that. Just kind of add a X amount to the check every month.
yeah, I think that's the way to do that.
Well, to start with wages. And all right, so you're talking about let's hire somebody gentle. Let's start part-time.
That's what I think. What does the rest of the board think? I think,
I think that's fine, especially, well, based on the framework of, all right, we're gonna do essentially task by task while they get
mhm.
accustomed to anything, then that's a great way to start part-time. Like, you start them part-time, give them task by task, they fill those hours and then give them more tasks. But, all right, worst case scenario, you give somebody $32 an hour, they'll do this and they'll laugh all the way to the bank. 32 times 40 hours a week, times 52 weeks, because we're gonna give them paid vacation because of hard
Well, can I apply
hours.
for this job?
Hang on just a minute.
So 66.5 a year, plus 12,000 for health insurance, plus a trivial of workman's comp, an $80,000 budget for their wages a year would be worst case scenario.
That would,
Brady wants to say something.
Did Gary give me some numbers for like taxes and workers' comp and liability insurance?
okay.
Okay.
If you all wanted to look at that.
So I think right now, well, first of all, I think, sorry, sir.
I do want to mention too, that we need to have extensive background checks.
Yes.
The number one, qualification for this.
Mhm. Yep.
I didn't hear that mentioned yet, so.
Nope,
That's statutory. Nobody can ever work for a municipality without background check.
Oh, okay.
As a W-2.
Yeah, we need to make sure that if when we
So
get
this
to
is
the
based off
listing, that that's
wages?
part of it.
Yeah, I looked that up and I think in the job listing or posting, we would want to say, something like,
So with,
integrity.
Required.
No, somebody with
Okay, so we
integrity and use,
puts us up to about
use
90.
quality words so that they're part of the process.
yep, okay, that's good.
So it puts it
Do-
about to 90,000 with the social security, Medicare and retirement. About
That's as a
90,000.
full-time.
Full-time, $32 an hour, laughing all the way to the bank, loving their job.
No.
I don't think they're not worth 32.
No, that's
can't-
why I'm saying worst case scenario.
Yeah,
They don't even pay your finance officer that.
Right.
She runs.
Well, just so you guys know, Bradley's right here, so we want to keep her in the office. We don't want her to start running around doing stuff, all right? Keep these numbers down, you know what I'm saying?
Worst case scenario means worst case scenario. We can get everything in town done for that.
Well, worst case scenario, it ain't happening, so that, you
Right.
might as well just throw that one under the bus and
So
put
then you
on
start worst case
25.
scenario and dial it down.
So how's 25? Is that everybody?
I think they're high.
What does Terry get? I don't remember.
It's 26, I think.
26, that's what I thought.
Well, I would start out at 22.50 and.
22? Think we can get somebody hired for 22?
Well, or, I mean, if
I'm
you
just-
think they're so good, then we can raise it.
Oh,
But to
yes,
get somebody
absolutely.
in here to start, I mean, you can't start at the top and then expect to go down.
Right.
Right.
The other thing is if we're
What is
just kind of thinking this through.
That's all we're doing right now. Mhm.
Right. So if we're kind of nebulous on hours, right? And we can't say starting at 40 hours full-time, then whatever person is going to apply is either most likely going to be a younger person or an older person or somebody, maybe somebody in between that doesn't really have to have the steady income, but you know what I'm saying?
I do.
I would think this would be a good job actually for the right young person as well. And so I don't think that they would necessarily have a problem with the 2250 because,
Well, I mean, just to say, we've had good luck with people right out of college, so. Just throwing it out
So,
there.
another thing is,
we gotta keep her in the office, man.
Well, we've got mines right down the road. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't know how many of y'all have ever been in there.
Didn't work.
Mines,
Oh, yeah, many
yeah. Big box full of geniuses.
times.
We would
they
absolutely
come
love
on,
it.
they're thinking they're gonna make big money.
No, that's not true. I went there. I know the people who go there. There are a lot of people who kind of only go because it's close and they're in the area and they kind of just are going to college because that's the thing you do. And they really do just want to stay in the area.
Okay,
I have
so,
another comment.
oh, yeah, go ahead.
Are they gonna be on call 24 hours a day?
No,
So what happens if something happens during the night?
we call somebody who charges us $15,000.
Well, hopefully we won't have to call them anymore.
I guess that depends too on who we hire. These things could, Chuck,
I mean, these are all things we're gonna have to think
oh,
about.
they are, they absolutely are.
I mean, the thing is, we get the right young person that's already somewhat knowledgeable, wants a job, kind of understands they can work into a position or something like that. Then we can maybe start getting more and more things for them, I mean, at some point, I think this is a good start for kind of creating the sandbox or the guardrails per se, inside which they would operate. And so,
I think one thing that kind of needs to be, maybe kind of needs to be said, we're not looking for somebody who's going to do everything Chuck did, because we were never going to find somebody who did everything.
yeah, I
Chuck did.
understand. Yeah,
It's never going to happen. We're not looking for a replacement for our public works director.
let's just-
We'll never find one.
let's just focus on the associate rather than comparisons of the past. So, Linda,
I have heard that there's a man in town that's wanting to retire, that may be interested in this position.
okay.
He's a truck driver, over the road truck driver.
Well,
And
let me
it's-
just talk, you probably tell you who that is.
yes, you probably can, because it was your husband that told me who it was. So, and so I'm assuming that he had talked to him, and I think that would be a good fit. Oh, okay, well, then that won't work, so,
Well, I don't.
yeah, I mean, that is just, there is a possibility there, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Um,
So, do you guys think we kind of fleshed out the four position? I know there's we got a letter back here from Trina.
yeah,
If you'd like to read her letter to give her perspective on it, but if we've already fleshed out the four position, I think her position is not going with a hired person right now. And then after that, I saw some hands out there in the audience somewhere, so we can,
Oh.
there's some input from them. So Trina, would you like to read your letter?
Can I say one more thing? We really need to take the cemeteries off of these lists.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, we have nothing to do with the cemeteries, and so we don't want anybody to think that we do.
Yeah.
Or anyone to think that we think that we do.
Right, exactly. So that needs to come off.
So it's only really mentioned once, right?
And well, there's once in each piece, each contract thing here. There's one in Trina's and one in the other one
okay.
too, so.
Parks and public spaces, from park cemeteries and public spaces to parks and public spaces.
The average, before I share my thing, the average pay for a groundskeeper in South Dakota, according to Zip, the recruiter, is $17.31. Because I think the number you're throwing around is a little high, so I looked that up just real fast. And there is, Rapid City has a maintenance job open right now, starting at $20.51 an hour. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, my letter, I can summarize some of it. I recommend that the board not proceed with hiring a public works associate at this time and instead consider obtaining contracted services to cover the tasks that are currently not included in our existing contract for public works. This recommendation is based on operational analysis, administrative workload concerns, and structural gaps identified in the public works job description, which Aaron's covered some of those gaps just now. As a fellow trustee, I believe it is our responsibility to ensure that staffing decisions are not only fiscally responsible, but also administratively sustainable and aligned with our current capacity and policy framework. Contracting the remaining public works duty, particularly those not currently covered, provides several key advantages that directly support municipal safety standards and employee workload sustainability. As a contractor reports to the board and not the office manager, relieving the added responsibility that comes with adding additional employees. Several issues with the PWA job description and competency framework remain unresolved, including lack of an explicit prohibited task list, increasing liability risk, undefined supervision levels, no objective competency benchmarks, insufficient emergency operations protocols, no defined process for certification and tracking. And that last one I meant to edit out, but basically that would be the supervisor of the person. For these reasons, I respectfully recommend that the board postpone hiring a public works associate at this time. Pursue the expansion of the contracted work in the interim and continue to prepare for a staffing expansion. We're gonna have more staff. It's just gonna happen, but I feel like we need more time to prepare for that. And then my supporting documentation was just outlining what Aaron had presented in a way that worked for me, for my brain. So I made a table so it was easy to see. And then I realized I hadn't attached the gaps sheet, so I made a copy of that.
It's all there.
I don't have a copy for you, but I'll get you one.
What's that? Yeah, and if we could get copies of this email and stuff too, and get those,
Oh,
This is just a work session, and I need the restroom, so I'll be back.
Yep, go for it.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm listening.
We don't. Yeah, recess for a minute.
It's okay.
Two people gone.
Yeah, so, where did you want to go over the gaps, Trina?
yeah, the gaps, missing legal references, so we just, in our documentation, because we're government, we need to make sure we're mentioning the safety, safety groups that are prevalent, like the DANR. And I don't know, a lot of the jobs I've had have had OSHA in there, but South Dakota might be different. I haven't checked that yet. Supervision levels, which I already mentioned. Essential job duties versus non-essential job duties. Clear performance expectations, timeliness, what's documented, how it's documented. And we've kind of talked about that, our new software system. We got to make sure that they get trained on that. There's just a lot. And who's going to do that training? How are we going to document that training to say that we showed you how to do it? Which computer they're going to use? Who's going to supervise that? And I feel like a lot of those things fall on Terry's plate. And I'm not really happy with the idea of giving Terry any more work.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So I know when I had to do safety training for the industrial sites that I would visit on a regular basis, that they were basically all given by third parties.
Oh, that's good.
And so you dial into a website that's managed by the third party. So obviously the customer, in this case, would be the person that I'm working for.
Mhm.
They would have a subscription with that third party. And then I start an account with the training company, and then I would log into their system and do the training. So that's one way that the training could be automated. But, we're every time that, we get into this, we're also adding more costs and everything too, which is fine, but we just have to make sure that we keep all that in mind and that we have a kind of a, accurate expectation of kind of what we're getting into also, but sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's exactly, this is good. I appreciate that. No, and some of these things are quick to resolve and some of them will take a little bit of time. So I thought it would be good to have the gaps list and start working on it, start adding
Absolutely.
some of these things. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Did you have anything you wanted to add there?
Sure. Well, first, I want to say thank you, Trina, for like
Thank you.
really looking at it. I've written so many documents over the past year, and that's the first time anybody said, "Here's a written opinion on the work you did." So thank you very much. That's good. I think maybe it's not super clear in there as far as training. There has to be, and it kind of goes back to they don't do anything without training, right? It needs to fall at least in the interim to the committees associated with whatever work is being done, right? That makes sense. It's kind of something that we do need to start leaning more into the committees, but the committee should be the one to organize that. It definitely shouldn't fall anymore to Terry. Definitely not supervising somebody outside of the finance office. That would be weird. But the idea is once you get them trained, once you get them certified, we just roll on. Yeah.
Okay. So, you guys feel like, I think, I saw your hand, Dan. So I
Oh,
think,
there's one.
did you have one more thing you wanted to add, and then we can open it up for discussion?
Yeah. Yep. Just kind of on the other hand. All right. So contracted versus employee. If you hire a contractor who's actually doing the work, somebody else's employee. So whatever you would pay a town employee to do, they're still going to get that, but you're also going to be giving a cut to the person they work for.
Sure.
So there's never going to be a universe where you can get a better deal with a contractor than you would with an employee, unless they're employing. Yeah, we don't need to get into that. There are very few ethical pathways to where you can get work done cheaper with a contractor than you would with an employee.
Well,
Really, almost no ethically.
Well,
I mean, the idea of hiring a contractor for things is you hire the specialist, they come in to get the work done, and then they leave.
Mhm.
And they carry all the overhead so you're right, for a per task item.
Yeah.
You're right to a degree. I mean, we haven't talked about the town's need for equipment, and we did a little bit, but the cost of that, cost of the maintenance, cost of that, and all that type of stuff, and there's carrying costs to that too, and those are all costs the contractor take on. So that usually on a per task basis, the contractor, you will pay them more, but when they go home, you stop paying them. Right? When they're done with the job, like, at noon or whatever it is, you stop paying them. And then, whereas with the employee, we obviously we're paying them all the time or whatever that time is. Right. So that's kind of where I see the distinction between a contractor and an employee, and how in some cases a contractor can be beneficial, especially if it's like piecemeal work. If we do need somebody to kind of do like a general maintenance every day, that's where contractors are going to be more expensive, I think. And I think you're right in that case. But in like the piecemeal type of work um, that's periodic, you know, I'm just saying, I don't think that the employee in those cases would be automatically cheaper. Right. So anyways, Dan, did you want to?
Donna had her in.
Oh,
Well, I was just gonna say, when you hire a contractor, all it's right, cut and dry, how much it's gonna cost you. There's no, and you get somebody by the hour,
It's
he could say 5 hours and ends up being 10. So I mean, when you hire a contractor, they have it pretty much down pat as to what they really want to charge or what they're going to charge.
Yeah, if you do like a per job contract or something like that, yep. Okay, Dan, did you want to try?
Thank you. And I have to say, thanks, Trina. I mean, you hit it right on the nail head. And Linda knows how I've always been positioned on an employee. We're not ready, and it's a matter where speaking from a 50+ year business, and this is my game, that you're talking and of everything that's going on in this town, you need somebody that's gonna be able to watch that person as I do my employees. And it's never going to be a circumstance to work unless you have that individual. Number two, you're exactly right as far as the contracting. You know, we had APAC that's going to contract the snow, contract the mowing, contract the streets. They're taking care of all the water sewer, and that's their game all the way through. And as far as it goes down to having the equipment, I can give you examples of all the city, state, and county that I work for. And the city just did a transition where they're trying to do everything in-house. They've spent over $100,000 on equipment, not to mention staff, to take over what we were doing. And they can never compete with what we were at for a contracted price versus them doing it in-house. So for the statement to say the contractor is gonna be more expensive and not as efficient on coming through and doing these workloads and responsibilities is a falsehood too. The contractor's got a set price, Donna hit it right on the nail head. And that individual's gonna get in there and get out as fast as they can to make sure they can meet that price point, no matter what they're bid at. So they're gonna be effective and efficient, whatever they do. As far as certification, you got APAC that can do the water, sewer, flush, everything else. You don't want just somebody in there doing that stuff. You're gonna have more cause problems than you ever did before. Not to mention somebody that's on streets or snow removal or mowing that doesn't know what they're doing. They're gonna destroy every piece of equipment, not to mention the town property, and you're gonna have somebody there babysitting them the whole time. So, and at a $17 to $20 an hour wage, I guarantee I know who you're going to attract for that position. Even at $30 an hour, that person's in the blind. He's not gonna know what to do out there, and they're still not gonna know the perks of it. And you're gonna have that idle time. You hit it right on the nail head where you're all day long. You got them 5 days a week. They're not gonna take that position otherwise. And so it's a period where, I'm sorry, I can't fight this off myself either.
Alrighty, well, thanks for chiming in. I think we covered this topic pretty well today. I do think we made some headway on it. I mean, we've kind of been chipping away at it as we go. Did you want to?
Yeah, well, yeah, we kind of have been kicking this down the road for the better part of the year. And we're at the point where we're gonna find out whether we like it or not, how much contracting and everything else costs. So we'll have that, but,
Yeah, well, I mean,
We'll
at
see,
least mowing, if we don't have this person hired right away. Mowing
Yeah.
them up.
well, I mean, every time something breaks in the building, every time anything happens, so we're quickly gonna learn just how much we're gonna hemorrhage by contracting everything out.
Okay, that was one question that I forgot to ask. What's the basis for comparison between the employee and the contractor as far as financial?
Financially,
Yeah.
proposed, every proposed contract I can find, historical contracts I can find, job listings I can find.
So the job listings for contractors so what I'm asking is, how do we know what, so I know we have some requests out for RFPs for contractors. So when we get those back, we'll have a basis for comparison, for direct comparison between, and they're task specific, right? And so, and so, we will have a direct basis for comparison, at least for those tasks. Obviously, kind of the more like handyman-ish type stuff, I mean, if we have to, in the interim, we'll have to get somebody to come in and do it. If the board thinks that position, I don't know. I mean, to me, having an in-house handyman kind of makes sense, but again, how much work do we really have all the time? And so that's the thing, but we do need to move on though to the next one. I think we covered this topic very well. And I think we got it set up for the next one. Linda, did you have?
I mean, like right now, if we were to come to a vote, and let's just say, we are looking at hopefully getting someone hired for that position within, let's just say, 4 months. And that position is not Public Works. It is, like I said before, or like you said, the
Municipal maintenance.
municipal maintenance person. There's no reason to spend our time, or for me to spend my time going through this any further if there's not enough vote to get it. So, I think that right now, we're not voting, we're just expressing opinions. I still think that that a part-time position to start with would be a great thing. That's my opinion. Let's go down the road, because if there's three people that don't agree, then we're wasting our time. And I got enough things to do. I don't want to waste my time.
All right, yeah, let's do this quickly and then let's move on because I know Aaron has to get out of here quickly. And,
That about half an hour.
yeah, and so, I mean, everyone wants to get out of here quickly. So, Trina, you want to start this off?
No, because I'm not sure.
Okay, Donna?
No, I don't want to start. I know why I did the whole one.
It doesn't matter. I mean, this is the thing.
We have to be honest with you.
Yes,
No matter what, we just
exactly.
gotta be honest with each
I
other.
don't know, really.
So,
Still on the fence.
I mean-
That's fine. It's good to be on the fence.
Yeah, I wrote
Yeah.
I wrote a whole thing about being against it, but I'm still.
Well, it's just, you know, I don't know. I guess the job description, what we're going to expect this person to do and, yeah, I gotta think about that.
yeah, so my thing is we need to talk to operations to see if how they would feel about having a person interact with them, because I know that we have some things in this job description that involve operations, so if that would have to be figured out and then.
Yes, that has to be figured out.
But in the meantime, if we just wanted to do like a handyman type thing, I mean, the problem I see is that how are we gonna make sure they have enough work so that they can get the hours that we've promised them? So it's one thing to have more work than we promised them, that's great. But if we can't delineate exactly, or at least have a good idea of what we need done and how much time that takes, then we can't promise that we're gonna be able to meet that minimum across their employment. So, Aaron, I mean, it's kind of obvious where you're at, but did you just want to state your?
Yeah, I don't think it would be very hard if we lean toward starting with full, part-time, like 20 hours a week is kind of, seems to be a fun starting point for us. I think it'd be very easy peasy to fulfill that. But there seems to be still some confusion about how it would be structured. Like, all right, so yes, it does mention, operations, water system operations and things in the overall possible realm of what they might eventually end up doing. But that's after we essentially give them approval to do that thing. So having that be a hangup doesn't really have a whole lot of validity. Basically just say, well, that person hasn't been assigned to that task yet, so it's a non-issue until such a time, should the time come when we decide that we should assign that task to it. As somebody who spent a ton of time, like a ton of time, volunteering around town, an exorbitant amount of time volunteering around town, we have more than 20 hours a week worth of work for an employee to do. That is undeniable. There's no two ways about that. There's no way to get around that.
Can that be demonstrated empirically and quantitatively?
Yeah, I've got 120 photographs that I still haven't gotten around to doing all the silversmith work orders, but I'll bang that out.
All right, is that your answer?
Yeah, I think, I kind of think that, yeah, I guess my answer is I would absolutely support it, immediately, as soon as possible. I think we're 6 months overdue.
Okay, Linda?
Well, like I said, I think by the time we got everything done, it would be April before someone was hired. And by that time, like I said, the spring work is coming. I think that we have enough for him to do too, because inventory alone,
Stop signs.
a
Fixing all the
stop signs,
could take
I
a
mean,
while.
those two things, and then if you get into mowing, unless Anthony's doing it, I still guess I don't know where, well, that's what I thought. The only problem that I see is that, like, I mean, this person could help Anthony, or whoever, John or Anthony, if they need help in the, with a shovel or holding a pipe while they do this or that. I would like to share this person with Public Works to do those things. But I think right now, there's enough in the summertime, and if we had a snowy winter, there'd be enough in the wintertime to keep this person busy too. The inventory and stop signs, and I mean, I think this person could be kept busy 20 hours a week and with no problem. And I think it would be, I think the volunteering is all wonderful. And I appreciate everything that everybody has done, including my husband, including the Halsworths and their time. I mean, that everybody has put time in, whether it's going through contracts or, whatever. But we're becoming a bigger town now. The volunteering is not going to work. So this is our first step into hiring somebody and giving us a chance to see that we can manage this person. That's, and I'm not saying it's ready right now. It isn't ready right now. But I think this is something that we should work towards for, like I said, getting somebody hired April, May, whatever.
Okay,
And now I'm done. Thank you very
All right,
much for
thanks, Linda.
listening.
all right, well, let's move on to the water rate thing.
How do we read it?
Okay, I could probably summarize how we,
Just take it back down and go to copies.
This one? This one? I got two. Are they the same?
There's no blue and water.
Oh, yeah.
One says 27 at the top, and one says 32 at the top.
yeah. So, I can kind of kick us off, so step by step, so you know kind of how this came to be. I came out here and was playing around. I was like, hey, Linda, come play around with me on numbers and stuff. First step, all right. So we're 0 to 3,000 is what it was. So incremented $5. So I just stepped it back to 0, and it landed me with a number of $26 an hour, essentially at the 0 gallon rate for what we're on right now.
Dollars an hour.
Or $26 base rate. I'm still unemployed. Hold on, let me shift my brain. So doing that without changing anything else dropped our water revenue down significantly. So the next step was to put in a modifier for the rates per gallon. So now they're updated there too. It was 5 residential per 1,000. Now it's 750 per 1,000. Other big hitters that came up is that North Hermosa water users were being charged significantly less than any other out-of-town residents without any really legitimate paperwork to back up why. So bringing them in line with everybody else helped a little bit. Historical religious bound to match residential. We could
Wait,
theoretically dial that back a
you
little bit.
didn't change somebody's water rates without giving them notice, did you?
This is
Just this thing.
yeah, no, we didn't.
Okay.
No, this is just a spreadsheet.
Uh-oh.
And these are all modifiers, so these can be played with. But yeah, so this is a chart of our current customers essentially and where they fall. So you can very quickly see that our fat central area is right here around 2,000. I tried to do a median off of that. It was tough. Here's the median down here. So our median is 2270 gallons per month. And with these changes, the people right at the middle of the road go up $2, $3 and change. But
So
people who are
can their
radically
water
lower,
fluctuate? Up
Yeah.
and down every month.
Yeah,
Okay, that's,
yep. So it'll be full fluctuation. Everybody will start at the same rate, and every gallon they use will affect how much they get charged. So it will also motivate and incentivize controlling their water consumption. Because now, whether you're using 2,000 or 3,000, now it makes a difference.
Yeah.
So people can be like, oh, I want to save money.
Yeah.
so I could use 2,000 one month and then I could use 2,500 next month.
And you'll pay an extra $3.50, $3 and some cents.
So, I think this is an interesting study, and it's interesting to know where people are at as far as the group of users and where they're at in the usage, right? I think that's an interesting data point. I mean, obviously, it's more than one data point, but an interesting piece of data to have. One thing I do want to draw attention to, though, is that we do have water. Have you guys looked into using that at all, or because that's so this here we're talking about month to month, and then we're aggregating that over a year, right? As far as meeting our revenue projections and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
So in Waterworth, it also has things like capital expenditures, uh, inflation, expected population growth, all those type of things too. And we do have a subscription to that. So, and in fact, how we determined our current water and sewer rates was using that.
Right. So I kind of sidestepped that level of complexity by going right to our budget. Let me find it. Oh, you got it. So water 211 500 divided by 12, 17,625. So all these numbers are after the water worth calculation. So I just reverse engineered this and plugged it in here to keep it super simple.
Well, what we need to do, so I think this is a good way to kind of get a picture across the year and to, like I said, too, to kind of get an understanding of where the users are and everything. I mean, we should be using Waterworth though, as far as long-term projections and stuff like that, and finding out where we're going to end up, because we're going to have to, as we go forward through the process that we're going through right now with getting everything, fixed up and running well, getting all the filtration in and everything like that. We're going to have some incidentals here and there. We do have some, like with everyone calls it the WRT, but it's the drinking water filtration system. We are going to have some upkeep with that. We're going to have to change out the filter media, and I believe the filter media is supposed to last 6 years, but we won't know what it lasts here until we actually do it. So it may only last 4 years here. So, like I said, I think this is a good tool, but I think we also need to leverage the other tools we have too, to make sure that if we do end up changing the rate structure, that we don't hurt ourselves in the long run. And the other thing too is, I mean, it's interesting that people will be able to control their bill to a degree. And I mean, if I just kind of think about what I do, what I mean? I, I guess I don't really pay that much attention to the water I use. I mean, I try
Right.
not to waste it, of course. We have the 2 different buttons on the toilet and everything like that.
That's the thing. It's a thing now. It's become a thing everywhere. It's weird, but it's a thing. Some with 3. You got 3 levels. How much do you want to flush?
Well, but the thing is that, and I don't brush I don't run the water around brushing and all that type of stuff and everything, but is there a possibility that we could hamstring ourselves if enough people go, I'm water fast, I'm doing a dry fast for a week or whatever.
That's an interesting. That's
We talked
definitely
about
an
that.
interesting possibility.
Okay.
But one thing before we move on, and this is all right. So this is the reality. Doesn't need motion. resolution, actually, the only way to change would be to do another resolution. The owners or occupants connected with the Hermosa municipal water system shall pay for water consumed as listed in the rate schedule below. This situation of letting people call in and turn off their water and then not paying a bill is not actually an option within our ordinances or the resolution. So we don't even really need a board motion, but what should be happening like immediately is that, sorry, not sorry, I know you turned your water off to try to avoid a bill, but that's not how it works. And we don't actually, because it's in a resolution, we could just say, all right, Terry, we're not gonna worry if you go ahead and do your duty as the finance officer and enforce the resolution.
Yeah, well, I mean, if and when we get to that spot, we're gonna have to send out notices ahead of time, you know. It's
Yeah.
not-
Oh, yes, oh, yeah.
Trinity, did you
And
have your hand up?
Well, the rate difference for North Hermosa might be because they're agricultural. I don't know.
They're all residential.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing with them too is, isn't that whole neighborhood running on a 2-inch line or something like that? I mean, we should be having capital upgrade monies added to their bill and banked because,
Would need.
you know, I mean.
That's if
enough.
we own the pipe.
Yeah.
Do we own the
We don't.
pipe
No.
or they own the pipe? So that means they do all the work past our meter.
Okay.
And that's the way we want to keep it.
Yeah.
But it's the same with East Hermosa water users, and they are paying the same residential out of town. So they're kind of getting the short end of the stick by
Exactly.
comparison to North. So we really have to just, sorry, not sorry, fix that.
The other concern I have is I really don't want to discourage people too much from watering their lawns in the summer.
Yeah.
And so if we went with a plan like this, I would want us to have a software that would allow for people to pay an average, to be billed an average. You know, the electric company does that too, so you don't
We
have
can
to.
get water meters.
Don't we already have water meters?
It's the,
With garden meters.
the garden.
Oh,
hose.
the garden meters, yeah. So I think that would be an important feature to have for people so that their bills are not fluctuating too much. And they
You're right.
can still feel like they can water their yard.
That was the one concern that I had, is how many people are going to really look at this? And how many people, there's a lot of people that like their bills being the same every single month, so they know what they are. So are we gonna have problems with that? I don't know. To me, it doesn't matter. I don't know about all of you, but to me, it doesn't matter. To me, it's not gonna make me use less water. I am a water consumer. I use too much. I know I do. I try not to, but I do. And nothing is gonna make me stop watering my yard. Nothing. I until I get so old that I can't mow and can't garden and can't eat a fresh tomato, that there's nothing that's gonna stop me. But that's just one person out of the 500, or 400, whatever. So those are things we do need to consider. But the one thing about it is, it's fair.
Yeah.
When you are charging per gallon
That's
for every
that's
single person, it is fair.
America.
It's fair.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I do agree, we need a lot more thought on this. I think we need more, I, there was no way when we did the waterworks, whatever, the really wonderful thing about that was seeing into the future what we needed and how much money we would need, and knowing that, by God, if we get these other 50 homes in here, we can maybe drop these people's water bill X amount of dollars, and wouldn't that be wonderful? I mean, that'd be wonderful for everybody. But it those things don't happen much, right? Exactly. And like I said, the fairness of everybody getting charged the same gallons is, to me, a big thing. And then your ha-has and your churches and your senior citizens. I mean, this would be very helpful for the senior citizens that I am one, but I still use more water than most. But you know, it just is fair, but it's worth looking at, and it's worth trying, we have to make it in a line with what we had scheduled with water works,
So,
you know, in my opinion, sorry.
just one note off of, just to be certain, like Terry could, and because it isn't a resolution, kind of would be within the rights to just do this, but I think we do need to direct her, or at the very least, I'll put on the agenda to follow by this, and then if she wants to do a notice to let people know as effective date, whatever, we're gonna go by the resolution, and using water or not, everybody connected is gonna get charged kind of thing, but I'll add that to the next agenda, so we make sure that that ball gets rolling.
I don't know that we're quite ready for it on the next agenda, but maybe,
Are you talking about the current resolution that we have that set the current water rate?
The resolution that's currently in effect right now,
Says-
the owners or occupants connected with the Hermosa municipal water system shall pay for water consumed as listed in the rate schedule below. And the current one is 0 gallons, $41. So if they're connected, they pay.
Right.
Doesn't, whether they're turned on or not, if they're connected, because their line, the line is still running by their house, we're still paying to maintain that line, whether it's turned on or not.
so this has been an issue.
Right.
And this includes, in my mind, I just automatically seen 4 houses in my head, you
Well,
know?
that's kind of where we need to not go. Is like particular properties, we kind of just need to be like,
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I can think of 4 where the water's turned off and nobody lives, you know? That's all I'm saying. I think that $41 rate currently is horrible for that amount, for nothing.
right.
And that's why this helps that a lot.
Mhm.
It lowers the bill. But like I said, that has been a controversial thing over years, what you're
Yeah.
saying right now. And you're gonna, not saying it's maybe not what we should do, but oh boy, are you gonna hear, the office staff is gonna hear about this. They're gonna get phone calls.
So,
And
real quick, can you talk about how you decided what the service fees were gonna be?
The basic service fee? Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're 0 to $3,041.
that's still, that's
Each 1,000 gallon thereafter shall be calculated at a rate of $5. So, all right, so what's gonna be 2,000, 3,000? 41 minus 5. What's gonna be 1,000 to 2,000? 36 minus 5. So I just took off $5, counting down to 0. Because it's 0 to 3,000, took off 5,000 down.
Can you go back down to the bottom part that you were
Yeah.
getting real fast on?
What did it say?
Can you increase the size of that? Just zoom in the whole page. There you go. Okay, so 5,000 or $5 per 1,000 gallons.
Right.
So you took that off.
I basically took $15 off and set that, and then carried it over and
But so,
tweaked it a bit to get the numbers right.
so you did that to set the baseline. And so you're assuming that that's what the 0 should be, because every 1,000 gallons is $5. Where did you get
I
that?
did that initially, and then I ended up adding $1 back to it in order to get our monthly numbers.
so the income was
So the
okay.
income was the same.
Yeah, where did you get the statement about the $5 per 1,000?
That's what we
That's in the
charge now.
resolution. That's what, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's part of the resolution. Oh.
This one here is our current resolution, just converted into Excel.
So this one here says each 1,000 gallons shall be calculated at the rate of $7.50. So
Yeah, right. So in order to balance it out, the per gallon rate has to go up.
So then,
Otherwise, we would have
Yeah.
dropped down to like 12,000 or
Yeah.
11,000 a month.
okay, interesting. Okay, so is the board good on the discussion for now? Sure, you guys saw some hands out there.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, saw your hand up.
Yeah, and I think the empty lot thing has probably been a big controversy for me forever. And if so, you're gonna be the ones coming out and digging that up and taking it out, because it shouldn't be my cost. And with no water, I mean, for the people that haven't been here and seen what was on them properties before that was cleaned up to make the aesthetics of this town better, And just because there's a hookup there doesn't mean nothing. If I go to develop them lots, I'm gonna have to put all brand new in anyway. I haven't used any of them for 20, 25, 30 years on some of them lots and don't look forward to it. Yet we pay a rate on a commercial building that we don't even use, sometimes 0 gallons a month, and we pay commercial rates for it, for that privilege. You know, so to me, the basis of what we got here, you start doing that and you are gonna have some pushback. And so what is it? Crucifying those who made investments in their life and did good. Now you're gonna make us pay for lots that don't have water that can even be used on them lots. So if you don't like that meter, you go dig it up, you discontinue it, and you take the risk of putting it together on that side of it and getting it off my lot. Because when I go to develop that lot, it's all gonna be brand new from the main end. And that's been discussed by several.
Yeah.
Over the years, yeah. Yep, 20, 30 years.
Well, and I
As far
think
as
we
city-
have a few that it gets into, you know.
Yeah.
And as far as City of Rapid City, if you have somebody that shuts it off to go to Arizona or wherever else, they pay you still, they make you pay a surcharge for the right to have water to your home. It won't be that $112 a month,
Right,
but it's going to be $47 a month that they pay for that to have it shut off. That's their call, that's their choice. And we've talked about that in the past too, that if you want it off, you're still going to pay a service call charge.
Right, so then, a possible compromise on that would be having a service charge to shut it off and turn it back on, is that what you're saying?
we have that
We always
already.
do, we already do.
Okay.
But it's a matter where if you're going to have that individual thinking he's not going to get charged at all through the winter, we've said, okay, then we need to have a service charge through the winter. If it's half the rate, just for the abilities that monies are there. And we've always said that would be a good, simple solution. Rather than no fee at all, and they just shut it down. Well, sorry. And City of Rapid City is the same way. And so are several, New Underwood's the same way, you know.
Yeah, so,
And I think too, on the rate schedule, our rate schedule right now is a good situation because we have monies built in there for maintenance, future maintenance. If a water line goes to hell or a sewer line goes to hell, we've got enough backup in there. So discounts are always sound good and maybe are gonna get you a vote. But when you have a major blow up, you're gonna go down the road hard.
But
I believe Aaron said that this schedule would actually net us an increase per month.
Yeah, and I think this is obviously not gonna, I've got 5 minutes and we're gonna burn this time when there's still stuff that needs to be discussed. So I think we're not gonna make any changes. So I can think we could put this to bed for the evening.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Well, Anthony, did you have something?
Yeah, just from an operations standard. Yeah, and it's really just because we need to be able to react to an issue in operations. That's all I'm gonna say. Whatever you're calculating the rates to be, you need to know what your thresholds are. So what's your operational threshold? What's your, reserve policy? We get a well pump go down, it's 2,500 foot deep well. You need to have 80 grand, ready to go, minimum.
Right, and that is why, right now, I'm just gonna say one thing. Right now, the way it is, we're taking in the same amount of money. We're not discounting it. It's the same as what the Waterworth has made us now. So it maybe looks a little different, but the savings is still the same.
Yeah, I mean, all I'll say is I've done this, I've done that, and I've done it the Waterworth, software way. And we just can't account for your 5-year and your 20-year plan, which DANR requires us to account for. They haven't asked us for it, but they will. And they'll say, what's your 5-year plan? We want to see that. We want to make sure there's no gap. You have to be able to prove it, and then you're going to be jacking up your rates. And then people are going to get upset.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So you want to catch it early, and you need to know what that number is. Rate increases will only do a long-term solution. You know, like, if you got a problem 10 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, rate increase will get you there. But a short-term thing, no way.
Okay, very good. So, guess you guys are done with water and sewer rates?
We have
to be
up.
So, we do have this too, which I wanted to cover in trustee input. You have a copy of it, Aaron? So if we go a little bit over and you gotta step out, then that's fine by me. I'm gonna have my recording. I think Riley knows how to turn that one off, so we'll have that one too.
Yeah, just click stop and close it, and that's it. That's easy to get.
Yeah,
Well,
just
yeah.
just to make sure. So, I mean, we got items from constituents on there. Do you have anything in a couple minutes, Dan, or?
Just the only thing is just reiterating the water needs a lot of consideration before anything is thought of.
Absolutely.
And likewise on the part-time position for equipment. You know, you've got a lot of decisions to make there. Whether you at least contract stuff out, whether it's Chuck doing the snow, Chuck doing the mowing, you know it's gonna be done. And he knows what to do. If he hires Randy Collins to do the guy, be his guy, fine and dandy. But, I'm sorry, I just don't see the other way being a possibility yet. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to trustee input. Who'd like to go first?
I don't have anything.
Okay, Donna,
Nope.
Linda, Aaron,
Almost definitely.
what do you do?
Oh, yeah. So I had a chance to review the recording of the recent meeting. And, yeah, that discussion was, to say the least, quite inappropriate. There were a number of people in this room who were fully aware that Mark and I went to observe the condition of the treatment plant while we were there. And no one who was aware of that mentioned it during the discussion that involved accusations of trespassing and sabotage and other things, which is wildly inappropriate and unacceptable on all fronts. So I would be willing to accept a letter of apology from everybody who was aware of us being out there at the time, because there were communications with trustees, other trustees, while we were there. So I'll be willing to accept letters of apology, and so would Mr. Honorwald, who's possibly no longer comfortable coming to meetings, given some of the statements that were made. Beyond that, yeah, I'll get more into this, but 6-1-18, that's the key to deciding who is or is not an officer. SDCL 6-1-18. And I'll provide a lot more information on that at the next meeting.
Okay. So I guess for mine, I'd like to go over the operations report. So this was on the Ferguson subdivision pump station. And we just covered the high points on this. And then, I guess I can ask Anthony if he has any brief comments after that, but so we do have some, malfunctioning level controls. The station doesn't turn on by itself. That's something that we found. And when I say we, I was present when he did the first checkout of it. It appears that the previous operator was manually engaging the pump station in order to make it work. The station's been surging, so that means that the effluent's been building up in there, and then the pump gets turned on and then it goes back down, and then once it gets to the bottom, then it shuts off. We had debris building up in the collection lines due most likely to the surging, and then the panel and the electrical controls are not properly anchored and they need to be updated and upgraded. And then you can see there's pictures here of some of those things and map there. So
Are these, can I ask, are these circles, each list, no, what are these circles?
I think they're just points for the
Color.
Okay,
Oh,
Anthony, what are those circles on your map there.
Oh, that was the management thing.
Yeah, all the damn,
But
okay,
it doesn't do it justice in black and white.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I got color. Just, that map just shows where we could surcharge back based on the elevation.
Oh, okay.
So all that area is probably a lot of free.
All right, well, I think that about does it. If we have any other questions on that, I'll be able to ask those after the work session's over, so. With that, I guess we can go ahead and end it. It is now 6:16, so thank you for coming and thank you for listening.
Until next, oh, did you have a nice hand?